Hey everyone, okay, so even though this is part 2 of the very easy eyeshadow techniques, this one is very easy, but it requires some practice. But once you have the practice down, it's so simple. And we're gonna begin. I don't know if I'm gonna use a bright or a neutral. Let's start with neutral and then we can decide afterwards. Okay, let's make a start. So first thing I'm gonna do is just pop on a nice neutral all over eyeshadow just to prep and prime the lid. Now I have on a faintest amount of mascara for this, and the reason for that is because with this technique, as you pull, especially if you're not used to it, the eye can look very distorted very quickly. So by doing some form of mascara, we're giving a little bit of balance back to the eye to begin with. You're also going to need a foundation and a wedge sponge. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, as we do with almost everything, is we're going to start with the lower lash line. We're going to start at the outside corner and work our way in, and then we're going to extend it just a tad, just a small amount. And I always like to start on the lower lid because you now know you can connect it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, but this time to the upper lid, and it doesn't have to be neat. This is just for depth. So you just want to go along, smudge it along the upper lash line. So now the fun begins. Take a tissue, bend it in half. You want to, this is where it gets really complicated, right? So you want to make sure that it ends at the tail of your brow. So about here, if I filled mine in, it would end about here. Now this bit needs to be angled so that you connect this outside corner to the rest. And if you go too high up, you're not going to connect it and you won't like the look. If you go too down, you're not going to like the look. That's why it looks like it should be the simplest thing, but it just isn't. It can become incredibly difficult to get that corner. So place it on the outside corner, and then, I'm going to need to just bring my mirror in, and now tilt it so you can just see that outside corner. Now start on the outside corner of the eye, go into the crease, and now fill in the outside corner here. And before you do anything else, now take this brush and just make sure that this outer corner is filled in. And now with whatever's left on this brush, I want you to look straight ahead into the mirror or wherever you are. And now think about pulling this out. So you're going like this and like this. Now you're going to take a darker color, that same color we used on the lower lid and the lash line, and you're going to fill in this outside corner with the darker color. And again, make sure you're connecting here. Bring it onto the lower lid and just blend it. Now, if you did this right, when you take this away, you'll be left with the perfect angle. But there's a high possibility you may not have done it right, and that's perfectly okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your triangular sponge and you're just going to use the end of your sponge, and you're just going to take and make sure that there's a small amount of foundation on it, nothing too extreme, just a little bit. And you're just going to clear up anything that's gone just outside that line. And also, if you don't want a hard edge, now this isn't a particularly hard edge because it's bleeding here, but you could also just dab over this area just to blend it in a little bit. Now we're going to take something.
Would you like it louder or softer?
I have no idea what happened then. Would you like it louder or softer? Louder, please. Okay, so we're now going to take a color and we're just going to pop this just because this is a neutral look. So let's add a little bit of everything now onto the lid. So I'm just going to add in this gold, and then I'm going to just add this in, which I don't even know what it is, but it's another shade. So we're going to layer, and then I'm going to add on this because it's in the palette too. So we're just going to lay these all over the top, and it just gives, you know, it just gives it a little bit more, you know, it's just a little bit, you got this neutral eye and then there's this twist. Now we'll just add mascara. Now, a lot of people will ask why I rarely ever put mascara on the lower lash line. And the reason for that is mascara makes the eyes stand out, or the eyelashes stand out. Now, I have about 6 eyelashes on the lower lash line. So if I put mascara on that, I'm gonna make them stand out, all 6 of them. So all I'm doing is screaming, look, I have no lower lashes. So I'd rather not do any at all. And that's it, that is the technique. Now this technique, I'd love to take some credit for it, but it's been around forever. Alexis Vogel made it very, very famous because she was an expert at connecting the outer and lower corners together, giving this incredible cat eye effect. She was just the nicest person as well. Her passing was incredibly sad because she was just such a sweetheart. So even though it wasn't her technique, I always like to think of it as hers because she was so amazing at it. But there you go. That is another tutorial on how to do a really quick kind of, you know, simple eye. Now you could also, if you wanted to, we will here just before we finish, I'm just gonna clean off my brush. You could, of course, just highlight the inner corner of the eye a little bit, just to, you know, complete the look. Entirely up to you. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends. But that goes to show you can do a really quick eye. You can pull it out, and your only goal when doing this is you're bleeding out to the tail of your eyebrow, and you're making sure that they connected that outside corner. Thank you so much. See you next. Ooh, it was warm as well. See you next time. All the links and information on the products used and my brushes down there. Bye-bye.